Light is traveling across billions of galaxies. Some of that light began its journey before Earth even existed. And somewhere out there, farther than your brain can truly imagine, is a boundary. Or at least, what looks like a boundary. A place where galaxies disappear. A place where space stretches faster than light itself. A place beyond which we may never see, never reach, and maybe never understand. So what actually happens at the edge of the universe? If you flew in one direction forever, would you hit a wall? Would you find darkness? Another universe? Nothing? Or something so strange that modern physics completely breaks? Tonight, we are going to travel farther than humanity has ever seen. Past galaxies, past black holes, past the cosmic web, all the way to the observable edge of reality itself. And by the end of this video, you'll realize something terrifying. The edge of the universe may not even be the real edge. Because the most shocking possibility is that the universe might not have an edge at all. When most people hear the phrase, edge of the universe, they imagine something like the edge of the Earth, a cliff, a border, a final wall in space. Maybe a giant barrier where stars suddenly stop. But the universe doesn't work like that. Space is not an empty container that galaxies sit inside. Space itself is the universe. That idea is extremely difficult for the human brain to understand because everything in our daily lives has boundaries. Rooms have walls. Countries have borders. Oceans have shores. But according to modern cosmology, the universe may not. And here's where things start getting weird. The universe is not expanding into anything. There is no giant empty void outside the universe where galaxies are moving outward. Instead, space itself is stretching. Imagine drawing dots on the surface of a balloon. Now inflate the balloon. Every dot moves away from every other dot. From the perspective of any single dot, it looks like everything else is expanding away from it. But the dots are not moving across the surface. The surface itself is expanding. Galaxies are not flying through empty space away from some central explosion. The fabric of space itself is stretching. And because of that, asking where is the edge becomes much harder. Because there may be no edge in the normal sense at all. But there is something we can call an edge. Not the edge of the universe itself, but the edge of what we can observe. And that changes everything. The universe is about 13.8 billion years old. So logically, you might think we should only be able to see 13.8 billion light years away. But that's wrong. The observable universe is actually about 93 billion light years across. That number sounds impossible. How can we see something farther away than the age of the universe should allow? Because while light was traveling toward us, space kept expanding. Imagine shining a flashlight across a rubber sheet while the sheet stretches. The light moves forward, but the destination keeps getting farther away. That's exactly what happened with ancient galaxies. Some of the light we detect today began its journey more than 13 billion years ago. But the galaxies that emitted that light are now tens of billions of light years farther away, because the universe expanded during the journey. And beyond this observable region, there may be vastly more universe, possibly infinite. We simply cannot see it. Not because it doesn't exist, but because its light has not had enough time to reach us. This means that every human being lives inside a cosmic horizon, a bubble of visibility. And beyond that horizon, the universe becomes permanently unreachable. Not with future technology, not with faster spaceships, not even in billions of years, because some regions of space are receding away from us faster than light due to cosmic expansion. Now this does not break Einstein's laws. Special relativity says objects cannot move through space faster than light. But space itself can expand at any speed, and it does. Which means there are galaxies whose light will never reach Earth, ever. Right now, entire galaxies may already be permanently disappearing from our future. And that leads to one of the darkest ideas in cosmology. The farther into the future humanity survives, the lonelier the universe becomes. The edge we observe is called the cosmic horizon. It's the maximum distance from which light has had time to reach us since the beginning of the universe. And beyond it, reality becomes invisible. But here's the terrifying part. The horizon is not a physical wall. If you somehow traveled toward it, it would move farther away. You can never actually reach it. The observable universe changes depending on where you are. If aliens existed in a galaxy 10 billion light-years away, they would have their own observable universe, and their visible region would overlap with ours only partially. There are likely regions of the universe they can see that we never can, and regions we can see that they never will. This means no civilization, no matter how advanced, can ever see the entire universe. The cosmos may contain infinitely more than what humanity will ever observe. Now let's go even deeper. What's the oldest thing we can possibly see? The answer is something called the cosmic microwave background, a faint glow filling the entire universe. This is ancient radiation left over from the Big Bang. But here's the crazy part. We are not seeing the Big Bang itself. That's impossible. The early universe was so hot and dense that light could not travel freely. It was like being trapped inside a giant fog of plasma. Only about 380,000 years after the Big Bang did the universe cool enough for light to finally move freely through space. That ancient light still exists, and we can detect it. When scientists observe the cosmic microwave background, they are literally looking at the oldest visible light in existence. A baby picture of the universe. And beyond that wall of radiation, we cannot see. Not because there's nothing there, but because the universe itself was opaque. It's like trying to see through a wall of fire. So the deepest visible edge of the cosmos is not a place. It's a moment in time. So what lies beyond the observable universe? The honest answer is this. We do not know. But physics gives us powerful clues. According to the best evidence we have, the universe appears extremely flat. And that matters. Because if the geometry of the universe is perfectly flat, it may continue forever. Infinite galaxies, infinite stars, infinite planets, possibly infinite versions of you. That sounds insane, but mathematically, it's possible. If space is truly infinite and matter is distributed randomly, eventually patterns repeat. Somewhere unimaginably far away, there could be another Earth, another person exactly like you, watching this same video, even saying the same words. Not because of magic, but because in an infinite universe, every physically possible arrangement of atoms could eventually happen again. Now before your brain melts completely, let's go deeper. Some theories suggest our universe may be only one bubble in a much larger structure called the multiverse. During the earliest moments after the Big Bang, the universe may have undergone something called cosmic inflation, an unbelievably fast expansion. In a tiny fraction of a second, space expanded faster than the speed of light. Some versions of inflation theory suggest this process never completely stopped. Instead, new universes may still be forming endlessly, like bubbles in an infinite cosmic ocean. Each universe could have different laws of physics, different particles, different dimensions. Some might collapse instantly, others might contain no stars, some might be completely lifeless, and somewhere, there could be universes wildly different from ours. Now to be clear, we do not have direct proof of the multiverse. This is theoretical physics. But some scientists consider it a serious possibility because the mathematics of inflation naturally leads there. And if that's true, then the observable universe is not the edge of everything. It's just the tiny visible patch of one universe among countless others. Which means the true scale of reality may be far beyond human imagination. Now let's answer the question everyone secretly wants to know. What would happen if you actually tried to travel to the edge of the universe? First problem. The universe is expanding. Fast. Very fast. The farther away a galaxy is, the faster it recedes from us. At large enough distances, galaxies move away due to expansion faster than light itself. Which means no spaceship can ever catch them. Even if humanity built a ship moving at 99.9999% the speed of light, most of the universe would still remain unreachable, and expansion is accelerating. This acceleration appears to be driven by something mysterious called dark energy. We still do not know what dark energy actually is, but it makes up roughly 68% of the total energy content of the universe. Ordinary matter, stars, planets, humans, makes up only a tiny fraction. Most of the cosmos is invisible and poorly understood. As dark energy pushes galaxies apart faster and faster, distant galaxies eventually disappear beyond the cosmic horizon. Future civilizations trillions of years from now may look into the sky and see almost nothing. No distant galaxies, no evidence of the Big Bang, just darkness. Cosmologists have realized something chilling. We live during one of the best possible eras to study the universe, because right now, the evidence is still visible. But eventually, cosmic expansion may erase almost all traces of the larger cosmos. Now imagine trying to travel outward forever. You would never hit a wall. Instead, more space would always appear ahead of you. And depending on the shape of the universe, one of two things could happen. If the universe is infinite, your journey would literally never end, ever. But if the universe is finite and curved, you might eventually return to your starting point. Like traveling around the surface of Earth, you can move forever without finding an edge, because the geometry loops around. Right now, observations suggest the universe is extremely close to flat. But whether it is truly infinite or just unimaginably huge, we still do not know. Now comes the most unsettling question of all. If the universe has no edge, what happens to it in the end? Scientists have proposed several possibilities, and every single one is terrifying in its own way. The first is called heat death. This is currently considered the most likely scenario. As the universe expands forever, galaxies drift farther apart. Stars eventually die. Black holes slowly evaporate over unimaginable timescales through Hawking radiation. Eventually, the universe reaches maximum entropy. No usable energy remains. No stars, no light, no life. Just cold particles spread across near infinite darkness. A silent universe approaching absolute zero. This would happen over timescales so vast that human history becomes less than a blink. 1 trillion years would still be early. Now here's another possibility. The Big Crunch. In this scenario, expansion eventually reverses. Gravity wins. The universe collapses back inward. Galaxies rush toward each other. Temperatures rise. Everything compresses into an incredibly hot, dense state, possibly ending in another Big Bang. A cosmic cycle of death and rebirth. Current evidence suggests this is unlikely, because expansion is accelerating. But scientists still study the possibility. Then there's the Big Rip. This one sounds like science fiction. If dark energy becomes stronger over time, expansion could eventually become so extreme that galaxies themselves get torn apart. Then solar systems, then planets, then atoms. Eventually space expands so violently that matter itself cannot remain connected. Reality literally rips apart. And finally, there's vacuum decay, possibly the scariest idea in modern physics. According to quantum field theory, our universe may exist in a temporary state called a false vacuum. If a more stable vacuum state suddenly appeared somewhere in space, it would expand outward at the speed of light. And inside that bubble, the laws of physics could change completely. Atoms might no longer hold together. Matter could instantly collapse. And because the bubble moves at light speed, you would never see it coming. 1 second everything exists. The next second, the universe as we know it is gone. Now before you panic, there is no evidence this will happen anytime soon. But the fact that serious physicists consider this possible shows just how strange reality truly is. But after all of this, the strangest possibility may still be the simplest. There may be no edge, no center, no final boundary, no outside. Human brains evolved to survive on a small planet. We are wired to think in terms of beginnings and endings. But the universe may not obey human intuition. It may simply exist, endlessly. The whole observable universe, everything humanity has ever seen, may be only an unimaginably tiny fraction of reality. Every galaxy, every black hole, every star humanity has detected, everything could be smaller than a grain of sand compared to the true cosmos. There may be regions forever disconnected from us, civilizations we can never contact, physics we can never observe, structures larger than anything humans can comprehend. And no matter how advanced science becomes, there may always be a limit. A horizon we cannot cross. A final curtain beyond which information can never reach us. In other words, the universe may be far bigger than knowledge itself. So, what happens at the edge of the universe? Maybe there's another galaxy. Maybe another universe. Maybe infinite space. Or maybe the concept of an edge is something the cosmos simply does not have. But one thing is certain. The farther we look into space, the stranger reality becomes. And perhaps the most beautiful part of all this is that a species standing on a tiny rock around an ordinary star somehow became conscious enough to ask these questions. We are made of atoms forged in ancient stars, trying to understand the universe that created us. And even though we may never reach the edge, we can still explore it. With mathematics, with telescopes, with imagination, and with curiosity. Because curiosity is the one thing that expands faster than the universe itself. If this video changed the way you see reality, subscribe. Because in the next video, we're going even deeper. Into black holes, into time, into the places where physics itself begins to collapse. And trust me, what happens there is even more terrifying.